Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that every person you love has disappeared. No family, no friends, no messages, no one waiting for you. At first, it might sound peaceful. No drama, no expectations, no arguments. Complete freedom. But as the hours pass, something strange begins to happen. Silence becomes heavier than noise. Your thoughts become louder. Your heart begins searching for someone who isn't there. That's because the deepest pain humans experience isn't always physical. Sometimes it's the absence of another human being, which raises a fascinating question. Why can't we live without someone? Why do humans crave love, friendship, and connections so deeply? Why does heartbreak hurt like a real wound? Why can loneliness slowly destroy both the mind and the body? And why do we keep returning to people even after they've hurt us? The answer isn't weakness. It isn't dependency. It's biology. It's evolution. It's the hidden design of the human brain. Once you understand it, you'll never see relationships the same way again. For almost every animal on Earth, survival depends on physical strength. Some animals survive because they're fast. Others survive because they're powerful. Some have claws, sharp teeth, venom, or thick armor. Humans had almost none of those advantages. We weren't the strongest. We weren't the fastest. Couldn't outrun predators or overpower them. Lone, a human being stood very little chance. But together, everything changed. One person hunted while another watched for danger. Someone gathered food while others protected children. Groups shared knowledge, warmth, and protection. Over thousands of generations, natural selection rewarded people who stayed connected. Those who formed strong relationships survived longer, raised more children, and passed their genes to future generations. Slowly, the human brain evolved to treat connection not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Your need for other people isn't a flaw. It's one of the oldest survival systems your brain possesses. This explains why loneliness feels so painful. Your conscious mind may think, I'm just alone. But your ancient brain hears something completely different. It hears danger. Imagine standing outside your tribe 50,000 years ago. The sun begins to disappear behind the mountains. The fire is far away. You hear wild animals in the darkness. There is no shelter, no food, no one to protect you if something attacks. In that world, isolation often meant death.
Oh.
Your brain learned an unforgettable lesson. Connection equals survival, while isolation equals danger.
Oh.
Thousands of years later, your surroundings have changed, but your brain has not. Won't be ending well. Rejected, ghosted, or forgotten, instead of being abandoned in the wilderness. Different world. Same survival system. Have you ever noticed that heartbreak feels almost physical? Your chest feels heavy, your stomach tightens, food loses its taste, sleep disappears. Even breathing feels different. That's because emotional pain and physical pain share some of the same neural pathways inside the brain. When someone important leaves your life, your brain reacts as though you've suffered an injury. It releases stress hormones. It keeps replaying memories, pushes you to reconnect, because, from its perspective, something essential for survival has disappeared. Your heart isn't literally breaking, but your brain is sending an emergency signal. Find safety. Find your people. Repair the bond. This is why heartbreak can feel impossible to ignore. It's not only emotional, it's biological. The very beginning of life, humans depend on connection. A newborn baby cannot survive alone. It needs food, protection, warmth, and care. But something even more important is happening. The baby's brain is learning what safety feels like. Every hug, Every smile, every comforting voice builds tiny pathways inside the developing brain. These early experiences become the blueprint for future relationships. They quietly shape how we trust, how we love, how we handle rejection, and how we see ourselves. Long before you spoke your first word, your brain was already learning whether the world felt safe or dangerous. Those lessons often stay with us for decades. Another remarkable fact is that the brain doesn't simply enjoy love, it becomes attached to specific people. Whenever you're around someone you deeply care about, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine creates excitement and anticipation. Oxytocin strengthens trust and emotional bonding. Over time, your brain begins linking that person with comfort, reward, and safety. This is why losing someone can feel like losing a part of yourself. You're not only missing the person, you're missing the emotional state your brain experienced whenever they were present. Moving on isn't simply forgetting memories. It's allowing your brain to build entirely new emotional pathways, and that takes time. This also explains one of life's biggest mysteries. Why do people stay in unhealthy relationships? Emotion says stay. The reason is that the brain often values familiarity more than happiness. Even painful familiarity feels predictable. The unknown feels risky. Your brain thinks, I know this pain. I know what happens next. Uncertainty activates fear, while familiar suffering can strangely feel safer. This isn't because people enjoy being hurt. It's because the survival brain often prefers certainty over uncertainty. Modern life has made this struggle even more confusing. We have thousands of followers, hundreds of contacts, endless notifications, and constant digital communication. Yet loneliness has become one of the biggest emotional epidemics in the world. Why? Because your brain doesn't measure the number of people around you. It measures meaningful connection. Hundreds of online interactions cannot replace one conversation where you truly feel understood. The human brain evolved for small, close-knit groups where trust and belonging were real. Social media can imitate connection, but it cannot always satisfy the ancient need to feel emotionally safe with another human being. The people around you also shape who you become. Every friendship, every conversation, every relationship changes tiny connections inside your brain. The beliefs of those around you slowly become your beliefs. Their habits influence your habits. Their confidence affects your confidence. Their fears become your fears. This means choosing the people in your life is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You're not only choosing company, you're choosing the environment that will shape the future version of your mind.